Have you ever wondered what you would do if you lost everything overnight? I'm not talking about a bad day at the office. I mean everything, your business, your home, your savings, gone. It sounds like the plot of a movie, right? But for Mark, this was his reality. 10 years ago, Mark was the definition of success. He had built a thriving tech startup from the ground up. He had the dream house, the nice car, and a team of employees who looked up to him. He was living the life he'd always imagined. He felt invincible, like he was on top of the world and nothing could ever touch him. But the world has a funny way of teaching us humility. A sudden, brutal market crash, a series of deals that fell through at the last minute, and a key partner pulling out. It was a perfect storm. Within a matter of weeks, Mark watched his empire crumble into dust. The company he had poured his heart and soul into was bankrupt. The for sale sign went up in front of his dream home, and his savings account was wiped clean, paying off business debts. He was 35 years old, and he had nothing to his name but a mountain of debt and a profound sense of failure. He would wake up in the middle of the night, his heart pounding, the weight of it all crushing him. Friends who used to call him for advice suddenly went silent. The invitations to parties and events stopped coming. He felt like a ghost in his own life, invisible to the world that once celebrated him. It would have been easy to give up. It would have been understandable to fall into despair, to blame the world, to become bitter. And for a while, he did. He spent days on his friend's couch, just staring at the ceiling, replaying every mistake, every missed opportunity. The silence was deafening. The shame was a physical weight. What do you do when the identity you've built for yourself is completely stripped away? But then, one morning, something shifted. He was sitting in a small, cheap coffee shop, nursing a single cup of coffee he could barely afford. He watched the world go by, people rushing to work, laughing with friends, living their lives, and he realized something profound. They didn't know he was a failure. To them, he was just another guy in a coffee shop. His failure wasn't a brand on his forehead. It only existed in his own mind. That tiny realization was the first spark. He decided he had two choices. He could let this failure define him forever, or he could start over. He chose to start over. But this time, it would be different. He didn't try to get a big loan or launch another flashy startup. He started small, really small. He took a job at a local electronics store, fixing computers. It was humbling. People he once managed now had careers that dwarfed his meager position. Some old acquaintances would come into the store and look at him with a mix of pity and surprise. It stung, but Mark learned to swallow his pride. Every day, he focused on one thing: doing a good job. He treated every customer with respect. Every broken laptop is a puzzle to be solved. He wasn't just fixing machines. He was fixing himself, piece by piece. He started to find satisfaction, not in the size of his paycheck, but in the gratitude of a customer whose family photos he had recovered from a crashed hard drive. In the evenings, instead of going out, he stayed in. He read books, not about business strategy, but about philosophy, history, and psychology. He was rebuilding his mind, not just his bank account. He learned about resilience, about the stoic acceptance of things you cannot change, and the courage to change the things you can. He started jogging, not to train for a marathon, but just to feel the sun on his face and the air in his lungs. He was reconnecting with the simple, fundamental joys of being alive. He reconnected with his family, who had been worried sick about him. He apologized for shutting them out. He spent time with his parents, helping them with errands. He realized that in his pursuit of success, he had neglected the relationships that truly mattered. These relationships weren't built on his net worth. They were built on love and support, the one currency that hadn't gone bankrupt. Slowly, an idea began to form. Working at the repair shop, he saw a common problem. People didn't just need their devices fixed. They needed someone to help them navigate the complex world of technology in a simple, human way. They were intimidated by jargon and overwhelmed by options. So, in his spare time, he started a small consulting service from his tiny apartment. He called it Tech Simple. His first clients were the elderly customers from the electronics store, people who just wanted to learn how to video call their grandkids or organize their digital photos. He didn't charge much. His focus wasn't on profit. It was on providing genuine help. He built a simple website himself. He created free, easy-to-understand tutorial videos and posted them online. He wasn't selling a product. He was building trust. Word started to spread. A son recommended him to his mother, a small business owner, tired of being overcharged by big IT firms, gave him a call. His business grew organically through word of mouth. He wasn't trying to build an empire this time. He was building a community. He hired his first employee, not a hotshot MBA graduate, but a young, eager person from the neighborhood, whom he trained himself. He remembered what it was like to need a chance. His new company's values were completely different from his first. His old company was about disruption, scaling fast, and massive profits. TechSimple was about service, sustainability, and human connection. He made sure his employees had a healthy work-life balance. He created a culture of kindness and patience, both with clients and with each other. Years passed. TechSimple wasn't a billion-dollar unicorn, but it was a solid, respected, and profitable company. Mark was able to buy a modest home, not a mansion. He drove a reliable car, not a sports car. But he was happier. He was profoundly, deeply happier than he ever was at the peak of his first success. He had learned that true wealth isn't about what you have, but about what you have left when you've lost everything. He had lost his business and his fortune, but he had found something far more valuable: resilience, perspective, and a deep understanding of what truly matters. Mark's story isn't just about bouncing back from financial ruin. It's a story about redefining success. His first success was fragile, built on external validation and market trends. His second success was resilient, built on an internal foundation of purpose, service, and genuine human connection. The collapse of his first company wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning. It was the painful, necessary catalyst that forced him to rebuild his life on a stronger, more meaningful foundation. He didn't just rebuild his business, he rebuilt himself, emerging not just as a successful entrepreneur, but as a wiser, stronger, and more compassionate human being. So next time you face a setback, big or small, remember Mark. Remember that failure is not a destination. It's a detour. It's an opportunity to strip away the non-essential, to rediscover your core, and to rebuild something even better, something that truly lasts. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that we hope inspires and uplifts you. See you in the next one.